And now, many people long to know God. They long to have that experience of peace, to have that experience of love, to know what joy is. They long for that. And since they are used to looking that way, they go that way. But where it is right there behind them. All they had to do was access what was the source of their existence instead of going to try to find it in the world. And the way it works is that we all naturally want to be one with God because that's God returning to itself. God loves you as itself. And its love for you shines through you as a longing to find God. Great day here in the city of Raleigh, in the place called Unity. Happy to be here, aren't y'all? It's really cool. Outside, they're selling stuff and making crafts that people have made from here. And also we're doing the angel tree. The angel tree, is giving kids a present that would not have one otherwise. And that's a beautiful thing we've done for, I don't know how many years, but it seems to me that those two things are the beginning of the Christmas season for me. And let's be happy. It's not even Thanksgiving, and we're already celebrating Christmas. It's really good. Today we're doing the last talk on the book, which is this book called Don't Believe Everything You Think. And how many people have not been here for one of these before? Okay, good. All right. Well, this is your chance to catch up. So this book has a very interesting premise, and it basically makes a profound distinction between thought and thinking. A thought comes unbidden, is a gift from someplace else. Thinking is the manipulation of thoughts, of discerning and grinding and processing, etc. He calls it manual. Of course, it's not manual, but it feels like you're doing something when you're thinking. And basically, he says that if a thought comes to you, it's coming from a higher place. But if you're thinking, you're beginning to start a process that will probably end up with you suffering or feeling bad. And so thinking is the cause of suffering, is the main premise of the book. And so most people can swallow that without too much conversation. But some people have said to me, hey, some thinking's good. And some thinking is good. I mean, we have really been able to use thinking to do many great things. But when it comes to the emotional state of people, almost no suffering happens if you're not thinking. When you're thinking, though, you have a chance that your thoughts are going to bring you into suffering. And so he makes an absolutist statement that basically you cannot be peaceful and happy if you're thinking. And that if you stop thinking, you will be peaceful and happy. So just hold that in mind, and I want to give you the why of that. So the fact of the matter is, you've probably never been really ecstatically happy, and you were going, is that true? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you ever been to a party and everybody's having a good time, and then some jerk says, are we having fun yet? Right? And it's the same thing with your thinking. It just kind of takes the life out of the experience when you have to process it through your mind. I should know. I do it all the time. But hopefully, this is a practice that you can diminish over time. Maybe not get rid of, but diminish that practice of taking what is a pure thought and making it a manipulated thought into your thinking. Now, here's how I think it all happens. And this may sound like metaphysics, but it could be your direct experience as well. That essentially at the beginning, in the beginning, you were just the presence. Essentially, you were the divine presence. And how can we prove that logically, that you were the divine presence? don't we think God is the divine presence? And don't we say that God is infinite? Now, in any one place, how many infinites can you put? So if it's infinite, it would mean that it has taken up all the space. And when it's taken up all the space, and you happen to be in that space, it is you as well. That there is the infinite, and we have disguised it with believing that we were a body, and we didn't go, I really want to know God. And it's almost like saying, I'd really like to know what the backside of what do I look like? And we keep turning around, and every time we turn around, we can't see it because it is us already. And now, many people long to know God. They long to have that experience of peace, to have that experience of love, to know what joy is. They long for that, and since they are used to looking that way, they go that way. But where it is right there behind them. All they had to do was access what was the source of their existence instead of going to try to find it in the world. And the way it works is that we all naturally want to be one with God because that's God returning to itself. God loves you as itself. And its love for you shines through you as a longing to find God. And so you're in this process of looking for God. Most of us, until you come to unity, most of us think if I get something, I'll be happy. If I achieve something, I'll be happy. If someone out there loves me, I'll be happy. And there have been moments of happiness that come in. They say the happiest days of a boat owner's life are the day they buy it, and the second happiest is the day they sell it. It might also be true with marriages. It might be true of most things that happen. I remember, I've said this many times in the years past, that I got an award at the end of the year. I remember in high school, and I stood up there, and here's this giant trophy, and I'm looking. Tacky, of course, giant tacky trophy, and I'm going, first of all, I didn't think this far ahead, but what do you do with that, right? Anyway, I went, that's what I was doing this for? It wasn't true, right? They didn't present me with happiness. They presented me with a piece of brass and wood. It didn't really bring happiness. And the reason it didn't is because it isn't where happiness is found. Where happiness is found is back here, behind you. It's actually, we will just say within you is an easier way of doing it, but the source of who you are. I really think it would be, it might be easy to get this if you think of wisdom, love, and happiness being over here, caused by this right here. It's just a pool of that. And one of the things it does is it gets, and it's also all existence, and it's that thing we call God. It's over here, and it makes something, or it changes or vibrates slightly different to form this thing here, this body-mind. Because it wants to have something other than just what it knows right here. It wants to be able to look at itself from a particular point of view, because if you're in the one thing and it's every point of view, you really don't see much. You can't see it exactly. You need to have particular points of view that see it. And so it creates this, me, you. It creates this thing that we have called I for so long. It creates that so that it will have a filter, your mind and your body, to perceive the universe. The rest of it, this, and this, all one thing, but to perceive this, to make a show out of it. Because without this, all it's going to have is bliss, love, and happiness, which sounds good to us, right? because we're now in the process of being that sense of separateness. This sense of separateness is a gift and a curse. And so this consciousness filters through us to perceive the world out there. And it can only perceive the world out there in what this can handle. You really don't know the world. You know that, right? What you know is what you can handle. You're like a step down of all that is. You're able to perceive something. And it's pretty cool what you can perceive. There's music and there's beauty, light and shadow, all that. But it's not the total story, right? You do know that, right? Yes, no? Yes, okay. So it has other creatures that can see it differently, other ways of perceiving, but what we're getting is that, not as it is, but as we filter it. And that's a great distinction. We just sang this song, out beyond the ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll take you there, and in that field, there is no judgment, essentially. And when there's no judgment, there's love and happiness. You perceive, but you don't judge. But most of us grew up with a body and a mind that is conditioned to take care of this, and so it judges whether it feels good to this observing mechanism and calls what's out there right or wrong, good or bad, happy or sad, all that. It does that according to how it feels in this. And to some degree, of course, you know this is tremendously conditioned by what happened in your childhood. Because the seed thoughts go out and manifest, replicate rather, condition what we can perceive. And so this seed thoughts that we've had so long perceives this in a certain way, right and wrong, left and right, good and bad, etc., red and blue. It does that so well, so automatically that we think, one of the great things, we think we're right. We think we see the world, and we think we know what's good and bad. And if you don't think so, just get in a political conversation with somebody. Everybody thinks they're right in brutally confident ways that you are wrong if you don't think this way. This has gotten to be old hat and boring, but it is still the case. So we have this perceiving mechanism here that infinite consciousness can perceive through and see difference in shades and colors and shapes, etc. But in that is the struggle to find happiness and find peace and to find, we see the world, but the world is only partially seen, and it does not contain peace, love, and happiness. It has contrast, has color, has excitement, has movement, but it doesn't have peace, love, and happiness. It doesn't have peace, love, and happiness because peace, love, and happiness are the qualities of the transcendent being we call God that actually is us and actually is the world we see, but we have gotten so forgetful to look this way. And we look this way, and we look this way only. And we know we want peace, love, and happiness because there's enough of an echo inside us that we want to have that. We want to return to God. There's enough of us that is just longing for God, for peace, love, and happiness, because it's still part of us, but we can't find it over here. You find glimpses, but it's not it. And so this idea of the thought, where do the thoughts come from? The thoughts don't come from the conditioned being. or the stuff you're seeing out here. It comes from the source of who we are and the most primary aspect of ourselves, which is peace, love, and happiness. And this is infinite consciousness also. So what you do is you sit and you be still and know that I am God. And if, on the other hand, you're running at full speed and you're thinking and you're thinking and you're thinking, you'll believe that this is where the joy is. And occasionally you'll find one or two dots of it. But it will be unsatisfying because it will melt before your eyes. So, here is where it is. And how do we get here? Sit still, literally. Once in a while at least. Sit still and ask the questions that you think this world is posing and your thoughts are posing. Ask this question and sit there. And it will leak through the wisdom that's always been here that will lead you toward the experience of peace, love, and happiness. Because that's all it knows. It only perceives through you, and you're kind of like this filter, but its real experience over here stays in happiness and joy. And I'm making this sound like it's 3 parts, but what I'm trying to say is, this is you. This is not something else. This is also you. So how does the one become many? Through perception. But it stays the one, even as it's the many. This is who you were, are, and always will be. This thing you put on for a while to dance in a planet called Earth that has drama, beauty, and ugliness. You put this perceptive screen on for a while only to forget that this is who you really are. And so what you're caught up in with now is, yes, drama. The drama could be fun. The drama could be a dance. It could be one of those things where you go, hey, I realize I'm not small and fragile, because no matter what happens to this thing, I'm always that. I'm doing this play, but I'm not the actor that I appear to be. I am the wise, steady, eternal one. And the actor the role I'm playing in this play has its ups and downs. Sometimes you're a bit player in it. Sometimes you are the main actor. Usually in your mind, you are the main actor. But in the drama that we see here, none of it is as real as this. This is never permanent. This is always present. This is the outcropping of perception and ideas. It is something, but we don't really see it for what it is. This, when it is with itself, when you are with your this self, you are at peace. You don't have big questions. It's easy. It's comfortable, it's happy. And it turns out it actually knows how to play this game better than the actor does, because it made the game up. So in essence, you're an avatar in a game created by you to have a wild and wonderful and wacky experience, and to fear death because you've forgotten you can't die. So the reason why thoughts, coming back to the book, the reason why thoughts are a gift And why thinking causes suffering is because sticking with the source, you're in peace, love, and happiness. Sticking with thinking, you're back to the suffering that is part of the drama of life. And so just, how do you get there? How do you get back here? Well, one way to do it is something we've been doing here for a long time. We've been asking people to ask the question, who am I? With the intent that you would not stop with being the actor. You would eventually wake up and realize that you are this. And the way they called this presence is I am. Not I am anything, just I am. This I am that you always have been, always are, and always will be in a timeless state. This I am is found by looking inside, by following the question, I am. Second way we do it is we had Richard Lang here, and we ask you to begin to look for the one who is looking. And when you look for the one who is looking, or identify as looking itself without being a person, you slip back into this. And this becomes your self. And all that this is part of that, and you see it as such. And when you hang out in this long enough, in the perception that you are perceiving through the mind, but you're not the mind. You're not the it. You're not that process that processes it. You're actually the awareness itself, this. When we do that, things calm down for this. They may still be crazy over here, but this part of you, this original, foundational, transcendent, overwhelmingly big part of you, it's okay. It was okay before you even asked a question. It was okay before you became yourself, this thing. It was okay before this happened. It was okay now. It's okay then. It's always okay. And when you identify with this and not with the actor, you become peace, love, and happiness itself. Or if you can't do those two, or choose not to, or you're caught up in life, stop thinking for a while. Stop thinking, just sit still, and it will leak in with a thought that will be the solution to the problem you're asking about. And so that's how the game is unfolding. And so much, if you can think when you're in the depth of whatever you're going through, okay, I'm not just an actor, I am the presence. And I have done the worst thing I can do for you, make this look like they're three separate parts, but it is one thing. But where your attention and your consciousness is resting will let you have different experiences. You can be dazzled by this. You can be happy or disturbed here, or you can be in deep and profound peace and loving existence here. This is not you. This is the real you. Or as we say in our mission statement, we're awakening to our divine presence through love, service, and personal transformation. Another way we could have said it was, we're awakening to our divine presence by stopping thinking so much. Because when you do service for another in a real sense of open-heartedness, you stop being totally identified with the actor, and you take on a more open experience. And also when you love, you close the gap, which is this gap, is that there is no gap here, and you close the experience of the gap. And personal transformation is just changing your identity from the actor to the source. Transformed when you look from here instead of just looking from here. That's the transformation. And the thing about it is, it seems like it would be really hard to do, but how hard is it to be you? The highest form of prayer is sitting as being, not doing, not thinking, not longing, not regretting, but sitting as being, because all those other qualities are this actor's problems. But when you're being, you're in prayer in the most profound way. I have some quotes I'd like to read to you. One is from a book that Aham, which is an ashram that's in Ashboro, and they are always preaching what I just did, based on the teachings of Ramana Maharshi. Okay, so when you have, and they do it by asking the question, who am I? And you arrive here. You leave, I am this, and become I am. And they call that here in this quote. From here, all the direction that the body-mind needs in day-to-day life is given. So simple, so clear, no question or doubts. Here in the heart, another word for this, here in the heart we have never been touched by anything the body-mind has been involved in. Already free, already clear. This is our true nature. From here, there is no past and no future, just the fresh moment of now. There was an actor that decided he would be bad, and the actor was in prison. And while he was in prison, he had that prodigal son returning experience, and he wrote this. Now this you have to listen very carefully because it's poetry, but I am not the brood of the dust and sod, nor a shuttled thread in the bottom loom of fate, but the child divine of the living God, with eternity for my life's estate. I am not the sport of cosmic night, nor a thing of chance that has grown to a man, but a deathless soul on my own upward flight, and my Father's heir in his wondrous plan. As I weigh the suns on the rim of space, who can care to doubt of my destiny? Who can fence my feet within time and place as I search the worlds of infinity? I am man, the Son of the Most High. I am man and one with life divine. I am Lord of earth and of sea and sky, and behold, the powers of heaven are mine. I am man the chosen and man the free, and it matters not what I may have been, for I walk erect through eternity to the far goal that is yet unseen. With unswerving faith in the coming day, I have turned my course from the things of time, and with Jesus, my brother, to point the way, I have found my place in the life sublime. This is fascinating. You can watch it on TV. This is filled with emotions often that do not reflect our higher self, because it believes it is separate and single, and for that it needs to defend itself, and it may die, and knows one day that is true. But this part of you is peace and happiness itself. It is still and yet vibrant. It is quiet, yet filled with all sense of being. And this is who you can remember you are, by turning through different ways to be still and know that I am God. Let us pray. And so we begin, sitting in silence and quiet. For it is in the stillness that we often stop thinking long enough to have a new thought, to have inspiration, to remember who we really are. And being here in the community of others on the same awakening path, we simply need to remind and remember this is who we really are. All is well, and nothing to fear. And so it is. Amen.
I hope you got something out of today's service. We intend to bring you things that will help you in your life become more of who you want to be, give you the freedom of forgiveness and the hope of expectancy that your life will unfold in a way that brings you joy, happiness, and is a contribution to the world. If you would like to contribute to this ministry, please go to unitytriangle.org, hit the donate button, and it will lead you into an easy way of doing that. We thank you for your attention and look forward to seeing you again here.